Hello. It helps with the when you turn your mic on. Pro streamer straps. So, welcome to United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey. We are here once again in Jenny Jump State Forest in Hope, New Jersey. So, I don't know. I can see shadowy figures in the dark. It's a bit darker than normal, and I
Oops.
do not have my distance glasses on, so I don't know if any of the shadowy figures in the dark over there want to join us for the presentation. But while they're deciding if they want to mosey on down and not look off the rock, do want to welcome everyone who is not only joining us here, but also our online chat, because we do live stream these on Twitch and YouTube. So if you ever can't make it out here, or you happen to be elsewhere, and you're looking for something to do on a Saturday at 8 o'clock at night, Eastern Time, stop and chat, say hi, and see our presentations. Speaking of our presentations, we have a whole list of them over on our website, uacnj.org. In addition to those, you'll be able to find information on all our member clubs, because we are a club made up of other clubs. And one of the easiest things to do to get into astronomy, if you are looking to, is to join your local club. They'll have lots of tips and tricks. Many have events, and they're all close to home, which is a great benefit. And if, for example, you're coming from New York City, the tips and tricks I might know, being out in Warren County, New Jersey, might not be as applicable in New York City because of light pollution. And I don't know the best viewing spots out there. I am strictly a rural country girl. That being said, you can also check out what we're doing, any special events or special posts we may have on our social media, our Facebook, our Instagram. We have a Discord server, all great places to see what we're up to, ask any questions, or even just share what you're doing, or if you're having trouble, feel free to shoot us a message there. So, since it looks like no one's making their way down, we do have a safety briefing for people here. If you need to use the bathroom, that is the porta potty in the back. It is blue, and it is illuminated by red for ease of finding in the dark, and it is quite dark tonight. We have a little museum and gift shop area. Feel free to check it out. All those proceeds go to helping us keep our bills paid and continuing to offer these free public programs. When we go to leave, we are using our headlights, because that is what you should do to not run people over. It makes it very obvious, especially as we start to get more and more electric cars. They're very quiet. So headlights, very important safety feature for not only not running people over, but not getting run over. That being said, if we need any flashlights or whatnot, we do ask you try and keep those pointed towards the ground, because we don't need to unnecessarily blind people. So you're not here to listen to me blabber on. You're here for Lonny Buinis. Lonny has been giving the What's Up series since UACNJ opened in 1994. He received degrees from Stevens Institute of Technology in Physics and Computer Science, then learned space art, animation, and video on his own. Lonny is the only member of the many much A's. There's only 3 of them in the name, though, who specializes in virtual reality worlds. He wrote his first interactive space history ebook, and is most pleased to have married Jan, his narrator. And hi, Jan. I know you're often out there in viewerland. So with that, here's Lonny.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that delightful opening, Kim. And it would not be possible to do this series if it weren't for people like Kim and Chris behind the scenes, helping to do all the technical work that goes into these. It's a pleasure to be here. I should clarify that I belong to the IAAA, which is the International Association of Astronomical Artists. So I do space art and space animation and space 3D objects. And I'll have shameless advertisement for that later at the end. We're looking at a simulated planisphere, like the planisphere maps of the sky that we sell here for cheap at our gift shop. You can find planispheres at museum gift shops, planetaria, science organizations. We have them available here among other items. And we're run by completely by volunteers, so any contributions you'd like to make when you visit are welcome. So this is some of what we're seeing for 20 hours and 30 minutes. 20 minus 12 is 8. 8:30 p.m. in the middle of September. If you look to the west at that time, you'll see some bright stars that form a triangle. You'll see the moon out if it's early in the month. In the middle of the month, not so much. And the Milky Way, often seen here at Jenny Jump or UACNJ, because usually, unlike tonight, the skies are usually pretty clear. Some of the clearest skies in the state of New Jersey. Come on down and see it. So that's what a planisphere looks like. That's a star map. And we're going to use a free program to simulate the sky. I do get my information from several websites. Starwalk, Go-Astronomy, and Space.com, I think, is the easiest to remember if you forget all else that I say tonight. But I don't work for any of these organizations. I do this not for money, but for love. Right? So I am an amateur astronomer, like most of the other amateur astronomers who work here. Let's start with the moon. The moon, the visibility of the moon is becoming less and less as it approaches full. And on the 7th, what day is it today? 6th. Yes, thank you, audience. So tomorrow, the moon is full. It's the absolute worst time to see faint objects at night because the moonlight gets in the way. Oh, welcome. We have some more live visitors who are alive. So come on in, have a seat, and welcome.
It's spooky season pretty much. I would not turn down some undead visitors too.
Very good. We're taking a look at what the moon's been doing this month, the month of September, and I've got the main phases out on a nice chart that you can print out or get for free at moongiant.com. And again, I don't work for any of the organizations that you see here. The last and first quarter moons are a great time to see shadows on the moon as the sunlight comes in at a raking angle. You'll often see on the dark side of the moon near the terminator, the boundary between light and dark, you'll see little lights that look like city lights. That's what I thought they were when I was a kid. That's mountain peaks lit up as the sun rises or sets on the moon. On the 14th, the last quarter moon is visible in the morning. So if you have to get up 5 in the morning, look towards the south, you'll see the last quarter moon facing the rising sun to the left or east. Here at Jenny Jump, behind you, for the live audience, that way is south. So east is going to be on your left always, and west to the right, facing south. A great time to see faint objects is when the moon is new. Where is it in the sky? New moon, it's being reborn. Why? Because we can't see it. It's in the daytime sky near the sun. It's there. You just can't see the dark side, which is the side that faces us. Always. Same face always to us. Turns out all the major moons of the solar system do this with their parent planets. They all have what we call locked rotation. They rotate the same rate that they go around, the same rate as they revolve. And first quarter moon is at a decent hour, right? We don't have to go to bed. As the sun sets, look in the south for the first quarter moon. Nice time to see craters and details. Oh, that's the northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere. I give this talk to another group, and one of our other group members lives in Australia. So I like to show the sky from her location. So everything is reversed. New Jersey, not New Jersey. Every month the moon has some colorful, the full moon has some colorful names. And this, it's not the harvest moon. This happens every 2 to 3 years where September is not the harvest moon. It gets displaced and becomes the corn moon, the blood moon. You get a lot of names from the Farmer's Almanac. And this is a 2 to 3 year, I know you can't read this too well, but I have this up for myself. 2 to 3 years on the average, this shifts because the moon in its orbit around the Earth does not fit neatly into 365 days, and it doesn't even fit neatly into 360 days. In other words, as we scientists say, the moon is uncooperative. So I'm going to be using a lot of scientific terminology tonight. Correct me, interrupt if you have any questions. People at home, you can't interrupt until Kim lets you later on, but we'll be answering your questions. This is the corn moon, the blood moon, the mulberry moon, the nut moon. It's got about 20 names. So go check out Moon Giant, Moon Phases. Check out the Farmer's Almanac. It's also the equinox, when days and nights are equal. And there's a lunar eclipse, wow, when the moon enters the Earth's shadow. The moon, you would think, would enter the Earth's shadow every time it goes around the Earth, right? If the moon were revolving around the Earth, lined up with the Earth's equator, it would go into the Earth's shadow every month. But it doesn't, because the moon's orbit is tipped 5 degrees. And so it misses the shadow. So that means we should never have an eclipse, right? No. The whole orbit precesses around. So it shifts slowly. And therefore, once in a while, it lines up and we have an eclipse, except we can't see anything in the northern hemisphere. In North America or South America. Australia, yes, and most of Asia, large parts of Europe, India, China, Africa. So forget about the eclipse. Forget I even mentioned it. There is a very nice lineup, will be on the 9th, on the 8th. When is the 8th? Today is the 6th, right? Monday, go out at 8:30 at night and look low in the east, and if you want to go out later, that's fine. But for the younger members of the audience, I know you're all young out there. You're younger than me. My wife always reminds me I'm an old person. It turns out my zodiac sign is the goat, so right. But anyway, nice grouping here. Saturn, the planet Neptune, and the moon are all making a nice close grouping. Will you see the planet Neptune at all? No, you need a telescope for that, but you will see the brilliant planet Saturn and the moon making a nice grouping. If you have a telescope, you can find Neptune fairly close to Saturn. And here it is in close-up, and you can disregard this blue mark that's from the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the blue mark. That's the anti-helion in the program that I used to make this image, Stellarium, which is a free program, and I still haven't found a way to get rid of the anti-helion. What is anti? Well, what's anti? Against. What's Helios? Sun god, right? So anti-helion is the point opposite the sun. And will you see that in the real sky? No. So
Jan
I'll be telling you.
Say you are in fact an old goat. So
right, I am, and I'll even show you where the old goat is in the sky. So I'll be showing you a lot of things that you won't see. In fact, you won't see any of what I'm talking about tonight because nature's not cooperating. But I urge you, everyone out there, go out every night. From what you've learned from my presentation, practice. Get yourself a planisphere. Learn the sky the way I did. Rip out the centerfold from Sky and Telescope magazine, Astronomy magazine, and learn the sky. It's fun. One way to do that is with a free computer program, and there are lots of these, but the one that I've been using is called Stellarium. And it acts like a planisphere, but you can zoom in and out, and you can do things you can't possibly do on a piece of paper. You can speed up time. You can go to the past, the present, and the future. You can move in direction to face north. Anybody dizzy yet? Face north. So go outside with your map, What do you do? First thing, look for the red letter N, right? Wrong. There is no red letter N, not in the real sky. In the real sky, you will not have outlines for the constellations, but you can look for a big group that's called the Plough in England. Recognize it? It's actually pretty big, and there are not 7 stars in it. It's a piece of a constellation called the Great Bear, and there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stars in the Big Dipper. 8 stars, because if you look carefully and you have sharp eyesight at the Benz star in the handle, it's a famous visual double star, 2 stars close together. These stars do not revolve around each other. You may be interrupted every so often by a Starlink satellite. Darn you, Starlink. There's another satellite. They are coating these things black, and they're trying to make them reflect as little light as possible, but they are a curse to astronomers trying to take pretty pictures of the night sky, or even scientific pictures. We do our best in the technology of the times. So Big Dipper is not a constellation. It's a part of the Great Bear. Here's the bear drawn out. Head in the trees, claws, long tail. Bears have long tails, right? No. No, that was an Iroquois legend that a brave warrior caught the bear by its short tail. There were 3 of them following the bear. The closest one caught the tail, hurled the bear into the sky, and it extended the tail out where you can find it to this day. And when the bear is low in the fall, it bleeds from its wounds from the warriors onto the trees, turning them red. And that's how we get fall. These constellations that are within a circle, solar system. No, deep sky. No, markings. It would help to use glasses. Yeah, I'm an old goat. I have glasses. I even had eye surgery not long ago, and I can finally see pores and scars and wrinkles and on all the people I used to think were so smooth. It's really disappointing. But I can activate the circumpolar stars. Within the circle in New Jersey, these stars never rise or set. They just circle the pole. And what do I mean by the pole? Well, the Earth is spinning. It has an axis with poles, just like any object that spins. And the North Pole axis points right to this little cross, which you probably can't see because it's too small. It's the North Celestial Pole, which is not exactly on our pole star. It's very close. The pole star, not surprisingly, is called Polaris, or Alpha Ursa Minor, Little Bear, Little Dipper, Alpha Ursa Minor. So that's the brightest star in the Little Dipper. But we call it Polaris because right now it's close to the pole. A few thousand years ago, this star, Thuban in Draco or Draco, Alpha Draconis, was our pole star. And that's when the Egyptian pyramids were built. The pyramids point north, and they pointed to that star in the Dragon, Draco. Currently the longest constellation in the sky. So if you know these circumpolar stars, you always know where north is. The Queen Cassiopeia looks like a W. The house shape is her king, Cepheus. Draco, Ursa Minor, Ursa Major, circumpolar constellations. But these 5 are only a small number of the total number of constellations. So all of you piano players out there in internet land or in the audience, I don't know, do you happen to play piano, anyone? No? Have you ever counted the keys on a piano? I did, because my father was a musician. But there are 88 constellations, and you'll never guess how many keys there are on a piano. Go ahead. 88. Wow, what a coincidence. So now we know the northern sky, we can get our bearings and face south, where if we look low in the sky, we'll see a teapot and a long animal that has a poisonous stinger and claws in the front. This is Scorpius, sign of the zodiac, the scorpion. I believe the astrologers call it Scorpio, but astronomers call it Scorpius. And this teapot-shaped group of stars, amateur astronomers such as myself have long ago named it, you'll never guess. Go ahead. Oh, the teapot. Yes. How did you do that? The teapot. This is a half man, half horse, and he's holding a bow and arrow, right? Yeah. Yeah. Sagittarius, the archer, often depicted as a centaur. I do not know how our ancestors ever got all that out of the teapot, but one thing they had things that we have now, and they have things that we don't have. We don't have clear skies anymore. They had beautifully dark skies, no streetlights, and they, like we, had drugs. But we don't have lines, and we don't have pictures, but we do have imagination. So on a clear night this month, go look for satellites, go look for the teapot, look for the steam rising above the teapot spout. And what I'm going to do is exaggerate that. I'm going to leave the lines up. Let me exaggerate the brightness of the Milky Way to a factor of 3 so we can really see it. And that's the way it looks here. Oh, actually, because it's too early. We can travel through time in a program like Stellarium. So I picked 8:30 because I know all of you are still awake. It's 8:21 and 54 seconds right now. But if I go forward in time, what's happening? Why is the sky moving? Does the sky revolve around the Earth? Quite the opposite, right? The Earth is rotating. So the later it gets, the darker it gets. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. The Milky Way is going to be easier to see when the moon is no longer in the sky. We can travel through the days as well. September 6, 7, 8, 9. As the moon sets, the sky gets darker. The Milky Way streams from horizon to horizon in the summer and the early fall. Don't miss it. Come to a nice dark sky, upstate New York, out in Pennsylvania, or right here at UACNJ. We have 6 observatories over there, 1 over there. One of them is the Lonny Buinis Observatory. Gee, I wonder who that was named for. All with telescopes you can look through, or telescopes that project an image on the side of the observatory. Cool way to do, a new way and cool way to do things. So if you follow the steam of the Milky Way from the enormous black hole at its center, and I'm going back early to 9 o'clock when most of us are still awake. See the giant black hole at the center of the Milky Way right above the spout? See it? No. Why? It's black. You can see little foggy clouds, cloudy areas, parts of the Milky Way, parts that are not the Milky Way. I was astounded years ago on a dark night here at Jenny Jump to see this little cloud. This is not a cloud. It's not part of the Milky Way. It is a nebula thousands of light years away from us, a collection of gas and dust. Nebula means gas, or cloud means cloud. And it is made of a glowing red hydrogen gas. Nearby, bluish and reddish Trifid Nebula, Lagoon Nebula, Trifid Nebula, where stars are forming, where planets are condensing out of disks of gas and dust. And this used to be a theory, but now we watch it happen. We can actually see planets forming. It takes billions of years, but we can see the process. It's amazing. Actually, dust clouds that form planets do so in mere millions of years, very quickly. It sounds like a long time to us. We don't live for millions of years. But for stars, that's the blink of an eye. The sun is 5,000 million years old. There's lots of neat things to see in this part of the sky. Other gas clouds, dust clouds, star clusters in a globe shape. You'll never guess what this is called, the technical term for a cluster of stars in the shape of a globe. Go ahead, I'll take a few moments. What was that? Globular cluster. Very good. Yep, a globe of stars. Hundreds of thousands of them. If you want to see the most easily visible is not low in the sky because you're looking through a lot of light pollution. Where I live, it's trees and houses, so I can't even see that low. I would look higher in the sky for the 13th sign of the zodiac. Two signs, actually. Serpens cauda, serpens caput, and Ophiuchus, the serpent carrier. And why do I say 13th sign of the zodiac? Well, it turns out the sun, moon, and planets now pass through part of Ophiuchus. They didn't do this thousands of years ago when astrology got started, but the Earth, as it moves through space, has a very slight wobble, very slow, like this, like a wobbling top running out of energy. It's because the sun and Jupiter and the other planets pull on the Earth, and it precesses like a top. But it takes a long time. One loop takes 25,800 years. Currently, it changes, it oscillates, but the current number is 25,772. You can quote me on that. So, thousands of years from now, we will have a pole star right here. Vega will be our pole star in about 12,000 AD. Stick around. I'm looking high in the sky at a triangle of three bright stars. This is an enormous triangle because it's in three separate constellations. A cross shape for Cygnus the Swan, a little grouping for Lyra the Lyre, Lyre. What's a liar? It's not someone who doesn't tell the truth. It's a little harp, and the eagle Aquila down below. And to help you with your imaginations, Aquila the eagle, Vulpecula the fox, Sagitta the arrowhead, Lyra the lyre, Cygnus the swan. There are some beautiful things to see in this part of the sky. I'm going to leave the lines up, though, so it might help you with star charts. For instance, if you look closely near the arrowhead, Sagitta, there is a famous little grouping of stars that is not a constellation. It's called an asterism, a star picture. Not officially recognized as one of the 88, recognized by the International Astronomical Union, another acronym, IAU. In 1930, they settled on 88 constellations. That's it. There aren't any more. But there are things like this. Whoops, where is it? Coat hanger. See it? Summer triangle. Oh boy, what a brilliant name. A triangle of three bright stars in the summer. You see how scientists work? Summer triangle. There's also a big box, the quadrilateral. Wow, how ingenious. And what else? Pisces the fishes. Somebody took Pisces the fishes and called it, wow, the circlet. Woo! Yeah, science at work. But let's not cheat. We'll just cheat a little bit. So when I look high in the sky, I see some of the constellations I talked about in earlier What's Up in the Sky talks, like Hercules the hero, Corona the crown, where we expect to see an explosion near these two stars, a nova. We expected to see it in April of 2024 up through September of 2024. That was a year ago. What happened? Nothing. Yeah, nothing. Unfortunately, there's something going on there. The Blaze star makes a right triangle with delta and epsilon in the crown. Let's see if I can find it for you. Nope. 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 This is a tough one. This is a real challenge. I could have sworn that was it. Everybody know what a right triangle is? Yeah. Oh, it might just be too faint to see. I think I have a magnitude limit set.
A
Right
right
about there.
triangle is the opposite of a wrong triangle.
Oh, that's what Science Made Stupid would say. Tom Weller. It's a brilliant book. I recommend it. Science Made Stupid. Right triangle, wrong triangle. That's where a star will explode, maybe, and become as bright as Alpha in Corona the Crown. I'm going to talk about that when I'm done looking at the sky. Almost done. Hercules, if you want to see a globular cluster, the easiest one to find in the northern hemisphere is M13. M for Messier, the French astronomer. Uh, Messier has nothing to do with his eating habits. Messier was looking for comets, and he found these annoying objects that looked like comets because they were fuzzy. And some of them looked like planets, so he called them planetary. Planetary nebula. Planetary nebula, cloud. And so he found a lot of comets, but how do we remember Charles Messier to this day for all the stuff that he threw out? 104 objects, the Messier list. In binoculars, you can see this fuzzy cloud. In a small telescope, you can see some stars. In large telescopes, hundreds of stars. In the Hubble Space Telescope, thousands. And this is M13 with 500,000 stars. This is a very old object. There are tens of thousands of these things that orbit our Milky Way galaxy at all angles. They're as old as the galaxy itself, about 10 billion years. That one is the easiest to find. Look in the quadrilateral shape, the keystone that holds the stones of an archway, the keystone at top, that shape, Hercules. Look to the right, look a third of the way down. See if you can find it in binoculars. I'm going to end this part of the talk, and we can come back with my sign of the zodiac and the stars of later fall coming up in the east. So we're rising, time moves on, things move from left to right if you're facing south. We've got the old sea goat, Capricornus, my sign. Famous author Isaac Asimov, who wrote more than 200 books, was invited to attend a panel of astrologers to debate them until he found out what his birth sign was, the old goat. And so he refused. He did not debate the astrologers. That's where the sun was supposed to be when I was born. The sun was actually over here when I was born. So astrology is off by a complete sign because of the precession of the earth. Over here, Aquarius, the water carrier, Pisces, the fishes are coming up, and that beautiful grouping of the moon and Saturn. Don't miss it over the next few nights, 2 nights from now. The moon will be disappearing within a few days. It's disappeared tonight, unfortunately. It was out, but with clouds we cannot see anything. And so I'm going to come back to the sky for questions, but I'd like to finish with some other events, the autumnal equinox. What do I mean by autumnal? Fancy word for fall. Yeah, just the fall. We have the spring equinox and the fall equinox. Fancier terms, the vernal equinox is spring, the autumnal is fall. And the earth keeps pointing in one direction, but it goes around the sun. So as we're pointing in one direction, different faces of the earth get to see more or less sunlight. And so on September 21st in the afternoon, the earth will be lined up like this so that the whole side of the earth at once sees the same amount of sun. Days and nights are equal. Here it is in the southern hemisphere, the reverse. And if we were to line up, look at the earth at this time of the year from space, the axis would be tipped away from us. If we were on the correct side, we'd see a little more of the southern cap, Antarctica. Axis is pointed away, split right down the middle. Everybody's getting the same amount of sunlight. This month, meteor showers are boring. I'm using the scientific term. Boring. Minor showers. These are the peak dates, the 1st, the 9th, and the 27th. One of the more interesting, the 27th, the daytime sextantids in the sextant. The sextant is a south circumpolar constellation. So we see the north circumpolar constellations, right, all year. The people in the southern hemisphere see the south constellations all year. Do they see ours? Never. Not if you're really far south. Australia, never. So the sextant rises very early in the morning, gets close to the horizon. Best time to see these meteors. But unfortunately, the zenithal hourly rate, ZHR, zenith, look straight up. Look straight down, nadir, look straight up, zenith. The rate of when you'll see meteors per hour is only 5 or 6. That, as we say in astronomy, is yucky. Not a very good rate. The Perseids last month were up to 100, which meant you could see one bright one per hour if your skies were dark. So rather disappointing meteor showers. Rather disappointing T Corona Borealis double star, where material from the large star is being sucked onto a disk that accretes, collects, the accretion disk, around a little white dwarf star, about the size of Earth. Now that's tiny compared to a star. The sun is 100 Earths wide. This giant star is bigger than the sun. And once in a while, the material that falls from the large star onto the disk around the small star explodes. We've been waiting for this to happen since April of last year. Now, this thing orbits every 228 days, which means we can predict an explosion every cycle. And that means we predicted one for March of this year. Didn't happen. Next time, November 10th. I want all of you to be watching your television sets, your streaming services, internet. Be on your phones constantly, because when they talk about it, it'll be on for 5 seconds. November 10th, maybe. Or maybe June of 2026. Or maybe February of 2027. I don't know. Nobody's sure. But when it happens, this will brighten 1,600 times. It'll become visible in a small telescope from magnitude 10, jumping to magnitude 2. Every 5 magnitudes is 100 times brighter. This is 1,600 times brighter. Visible to the naked eye where it was not before. That's a nuclear explosion. Before I leave you, good people, here and out in internet land, does anybody say internet anymore? That dates me, doesn't it? Yep. We don't say internet. We don't even say web. We just say there. Reading. They still print, believe it or not. Anybody know what print is? Anybody read anymore? Sky and Telescope Astronomy out for decades. They have wonderful websites and subscription sites. The free parts of the websites are wonderful. A large part are free. And if you've forgotten everything I've said tonight, even about Corona Borealis, which I've belabored every month since last year, space.com. How can you forget SPACE? SPACE. Space.com. That's easy. Again, I don't work for any of them. If you like apps on your phone, there are different apps for different purposes. So really good one overall, Sky Safari Pro. For Apple users, Night Sky up to version 11. But there's all kinds of different things. Beginners, Starwalk. I have used Starwalk. I like Stellarium Mobile free. They're all free. Everything's free. And Skyview, actually Skyview is the one that I used, and Stellarium. But there's so many. There's dozens. Check them out. If you like to play with the program I was using to show you the sky tonight, Stellarium-Web lets you do it with their supercomputers in real time. You can download it at stellarium.org. You can get it on your mobile device for free. It works great. What I do, where I live, I can see 3 stars at night. 3. Polaris, Vega, Arcturus, that's about it. So if I want to line up my telescope, I take my phone, which shows me what I'm actually looking at, and then I can tell what to look for. It's really sad. I hope that all of you have a better chance to see the sky. Um, you can travel to other planets in our solar system and other moons with a program called Celestia, and that's free also. This is real time what Saturn looks like from its moon Iapetus. There's only two places in the solar system where you can see the rings of Saturn open. Every satellite of Saturn, all the major ones, line up with the equator, and the rings are super thin, even though they're over 170,000 miles wide. Divide 170 by 8. Quick, anyone out there? I'll wait. 8 into 170, 22, 23 times the size of Earth. They're only 30 to 100 feet thick. Feet thick, not miles. So they disappear from only anywhere except two places in the solar system. Iapetus has a tipped orbit, and who else? Where else can we see the rings of Saturn open? No one knows. Earth, correct. Yep, because Saturn's tip to us goes around the sun. We see the rings disappear. They're going to disappear. They actually did disappear. Wait, did they disappear already? I think they're reappearing now. So they go through a cycle every 14 and a half years. Half of Saturn's orbit around the sun, 29 years. Cool. So play with this. You can move around in it. You can go to other objects. Anybody have a favorite? You can browse. Solar system browser is kind of cool. We could go to Pluto. How about Pluto's moon Charon? Go. And you instantly speed through space, and boom, there's Charon. Where's Pluto? Let's find it. These orbit in a weird way, so it's okay. It'll just take me half an hour. Can't find Pluto. So it's there. Try it yourself. Why should I do all the work? Finally, whoops, sorry. If you want to get started in astronomy, there is a relatively inexpensive way to do it, because if you get bored and you have binoculars, you can spy on your neighbors, or you can go to the racetrack, or bird watching. I recommend bird watching. Do not buy bird watching binoculars if you want to look at the sky. They're too small, 7 by 35s. Nice for daytime viewing. Don't get 7 by 50s. That's a standard size. You want bigger. Millimeters is the second number. 70 millimeter lens. That's not quite 3 inches, 2.5, bigger than 2.5. The first number is the power, magnification. So 7 by 50 standard binoculars is 7 times bigger. 50 millimeters is it's about 2 inches. I recommend a bigger size, and they're not too expensive. I paid years ago to see Halley's Comet. I paid something like $200 for binoculars. Oh, and we don't need to see this part because we've looked at it live. That was a backup. There's a picture of the Andromeda Galaxy up close. Does not look like that in our telescopes. It's hard to see colors. And a nice quick review before we go. Don't forget, moon's doing some nice things in the sky. Full moon's no good. New moon's great for viewing with a telescope. Equinox, equal days and nights on the 22nd. T Corona Borealis, I don't know. Nobody knows. But keep checking. Check out moongiant.com. Tells you a lot about the moon. And check me out at Astronomy in Motion. Astronomy in Motion, where I have 3D objects that you can play with, 3D planets. Custom animations that go in my science book. Currently looking for an agent. And what else? Virtual reality objects, animations, and artwork. And you can find me here. And you can find UACNJ everywhere. We're all out there. Discord, YouTube. We have our own site, Patreon. Check it out. Thank you for being such a good audience.
All right. Thank you, Lonnie, for another great talk. So we are going to be doing a question and answer session. First things first, because I know a couple of you snuck in after the safety briefing. If you do need to use the bathroom, that is a porta potty in back. It is blue. It is illuminated by a red light for ease of finding in the dark. You okay there? Oh.
Sorry.
We also have a little museum and gift shop area. I'll be manning that after questions and answers. So it is completely cloudy. Normally after the presentation, we would have you have the ability to look through telescopes in various observatories. Unfortunately, as it has been completely cloudy, we do not currently have any of the observatories open for viewing through, because you're just going to see nothing since clouds. One of the major drawbacks of visual based telescopes. We don't have working radio based telescopes yet. That being said, when we go to leave here, we do want to use our headlights because I don't want to get run over. I am sure most of you feel the same way. Perhaps not people who have been working in retail a little bit too long, but do try and avoid that. You don't need the medical bills. That being said, if we're going to wander around in the dark and you happen to need a flashlight, or you want to make sure you've shooed the frog out of the museum area, do try and keep those lights pointed towards the ground so we don't accidentally blind people. With that, how question and answer session works? If you have a question, you raise your hand and wave it about like you just don't care, because I am like the Jurassic Park T-Rex, and my vision is completely motion-based in the dark. Online people, you have it easy. You get to just type to me, and I get to read it, which contributes to why I have no night vision right now. But the first question we'll do is, our first online question is, why is it mulberry moon if the season for mulberries was like 2 moons ago?
Well, maybe mulberries grow in a different region earlier. The Native Americans were very clever at picking the local fruits that did blossom at that time.
Yeah, I do happen to know mulberries were like 2 months ago, and
Okay.
because we have a mulberry tree on on my home property, not this property.
Too late for mulberries.
And the mulberry tree did not like this year, but that's besides the point. Are there any questions out here? Ooh, we have a very enthusiastic volunteer.
Hey, Lonnie, just checking my own understanding. A nova versus a supernova, because this is a nova. A nova is an explosion on a star, and a supernova is an exploding star. Am I getting that anywhere near right?
That is a very good summary. Thank you, Paul. Yep, yeah, this nova, new, means new star, isn't really a star. It's a thermonuclear explosion of material from one star onto the disk of debris around another star. And there are different kinds. There's different kinds of novas. There's different kinds of supernovas. That's what makes astronomy so fascinating. It's the whole universe. It's the study of everything.
Right. So there was a brief moment in time where we were helping a different viewer find a way to
we even take weird questions.
Yeah, they were having trouble because their Twitch wasn't working, but that's why we live stream on both Twitch and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So if one doesn't work for you, scoot on over to the other. We usually do have that shared on our Facebook or various social medias and on the website. Was there another question out here? I hear lots of crickets.
Mm-hmm. Real crickets.
All right. Oh, one of our viewers, Death Warmed Over, very appropriate for spooky season. Their favorite open cluster is M11.
Ooh, maybe we can find it. M11, because you can search in these programs. So if we take Stellarium and do a search on the left, see the magnifying glass, M11. Oh, and there goes my
We're just
mouse.
gonna yeet stuff off the.
M11 has been discontinued. Q.
Did you get your mouse or?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Hang on a sec.
Ah, never mind. I found it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Does it have? Yes, it has its batteries.
Thank you. Perfect. Well, that's a good test. That's about the 6th time I've dropped my mouse. Earlier tonight I did that. M11. If it's below the horizon, it will show it. Oh, that's very close to Alberia, which I should have talked to you about that. Let's zoom in.
Oh.
Yeah, and
they put M11 is closed for renovations currently.
That looks like an open cluster of stars, or is it a globular? Well, if it's your favorite object, you'd probably know. I am not familiar with this one. It looks like a globular, doesn't it? There are open clusters that are born together but separate over time. There are globulars that are tight-knit, very closely knit. Those stars are only light months apart. And this M11 is not far from one of the prettiest double stars in the sky, Alberio, Alpha in Cygnus. Oh, sorry, not Alpha. And that's not it, and that's not it, and we'll find it. Wow, why am I having so much trouble? Oh, of course, if I looked in the right constellation, that would be helpful. So again, the summer triangle, and you look in the middle down the spine of the neck of the goose, right there. And in a telescope, it's a very pretty object, and stellarium, not so much. One of the stars has a golden color, the other is cyan, between blue and green. Striking contrast. Is one of the prettiest objects to see in a small telescope or a large telescope. Now, would it look better in a large telescope? Would you be able to see the stars' disks?
No.
No. The stars are too far away.
They shall forever remain points to us.
Good
here
question.
on
No,
Earth.
I'm going to look up more about M11. Thank you, audience member.
Cool. Right. Online people, if you have any last minute questions or requests, do get those in. I'd like to give them a little bit of a heads up because stream delay is a thing. Were there any questions out here? Bueller. I was told someone here was a very good heckler, and he's being very, very non-heckling.
No heckling tonight.
Like, very demure, very prim, very proper, no heckling. Right, so since it looks like we're all wrapped up for questions, I do want to thank everyone for joining us here and online. We do offer these programs every Saturday here, April through October, and then starting in November, we do Saturdays online only. So while we might not be here because no one wants to be coming up in a state park when it's icy and snowy, except for a few of our astrophotographers who are crazy. I prefer being at home in my bed, very cozy at night, but that's besides the point. We do switch to our online programs where we still offer them, just only online. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm told they cheat by because they now take advantage of the technology where they can set their stuff up and then wander inside with a tablet and just go, yeah, that thing, instead of having to be outside attending the gear. But so thank you everyone for joining us. Like I said, museum and gift shop area. Do check us out on our website. It does have that full list of all our upcoming talks as well as links to our past presentations. So if you are sad you missed the presentation we had on the problem of space trash that we had.
Oop.
Hello, there we go. That we had last week. Do not fret. We do have those saved on our YouTube. You just have to look under the live section because YouTube's weird, and that's where they classify those. So, with that, everyone have a great night. Clearer skies than tonight, and good seeing.
Thank you for coming.